Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a really special guest for you today on Gab with Garima. I've got Lil Roberts, who is the founder and CEO of Xendoo, and she's going to tell us all about her journey, how she got here, a little bit about her, and a little bit about Xendoo. We have just formed a great partnership between Xendoo and Genie, and we're so excited about it. So we'd love to tell you all. And I'm going to go ahead and add Lil to our screen. Hi, Lil. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Garima, so happy to be here. I just love your show. It's amazing what you guys are doing, and thrilled to be part of it, and thrilled to be a partner with Genie. You guys
Thanks.
have truly groundbreaking technology.
We are so excited to work with Xendoo too. Speaking of Xendoo, we would love to hear a little bit about you. How did you come up with Xendoo? Tell us, first of all, what is Xendoo for all of our listeners who maybe not know? What is Xendoo? What do you guys do? And how'd you come up with it?
Oh, yeah, totally. So native South Floridian, right? And this is my 8th or 9th business, just serial entrepreneur, love business, love small business. And what's unique for me is in all kind of industries. So, as we all see a problem, we want to solve the problem. And the problem that I had was with bookkeeping and tax. And so what Xendoo does is that we are an online bookkeeping and tax company, accounting company for small business owners with less than 20 employees. And the problem that we're solving is that there wasn't transparency in the industry, right? There was like the black box of pricing, kind of like when you go to an attorney, you never know what the price is going to be. And it was the same thing with accounting. And the other part of it is that the accounting industry had never really retooled for the digital world that we all live in. And so I saw a great opportunity with that how do you bring tech to the industry that then gives the business owners the financial visibility that they need to have peace of mind. And that's what we do.
That's so cool. Are you an accountant or bookkeeper by trade, or is this something that you just kind of thought of that was different?
It's just something I thought of that was different. I'm not an accountant or a CPA. And I think that when you look at different industries, that sometimes an outsider can come in and see what was missing because you're looking from outside the jar instead of being in the jar looking out. And I think that that's what the case was. It's just starting to heat up with online bookkeeping. We're one of, call it 6 other major companies. We're an early mover in the change in this industry, where technology came knocking on the door for it, right? And the results are always that it benefits the customers the most. So when you build something that benefits your customers, it's always a win-win, right?
That's awesome. You and I got to talk a little bit about the name Xendoo because I love the name Xendoo. It's such a cool name. And I was trying to figure out where it came from and what it meant. And I know you were able to tell me that. And I thought it was just such a great kind of origination story. If you could tell us where that name came from and how you came up with it, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. And look, I'm envious of your name too, Bill or Genie. It's magic, right? When you think of your name, you think of billing and you think of magic, right? So that's really what happened with Xendoo. So when I knew that I wanted to do this, and I had, tested out the market and said, was a market ready for a company to come out and to do online bookkeeping and accounting, that people from other states would let you do their bookkeeping and accounting. I said, okay, we need a name that is going to be, that's going to exude fun and whimsicalness, right? That'll make people curious about it, because typically accounting is like a boring industry. Nobody wants to look at their books or think about their financials. So I'm like, how do we have a name that is fun and whimsical? And then we want the name to be strong. We want the name to make you think of, trust and confidence. And so that comes with the name and the colors that you use. And so I went onto a website called brandbucket.com. And Brand Bucket has, and I knew I wanted a 5 or 6 letter .com, right? And so Brand Bucket has these .coms that really make no sense, that you can buy that are short names. And so as I'm looking for it, I knew I wanted an X, or I wanted it to start with a Z, or I didn't want the typical letters like S's and R's and that type of stuff. You want it like a strong, like a C or an X, or a Q is also good, and a Z. And so I'm looking through it, and I wanted 5 to 6 letters, and Xendoo was there. But actually, the first name that I wanted was Zazoon. And so Xendoo was, when I did research to look at what that name was in other countries, it was a financial platform in another country. So then I went back to the drawing board, and then I wanted it to have action and feeling, emotion and action. And so Xendoo, right? And when you think of Xendoo, it's like about doing, and it's about being Zen.
That's so cool. We should pop that up here though, a brand bucket, because that sounds like a great resource for all the people on here who are looking for their new name, or how to look for, how to find. I didn't even know that that existed. So yeah, all of our viewers, go to brandbucket.com. That's what Lil just talked about. It seems like a great resource for
Yeah.
all the entrepreneurs out there looking for names and learning how to use that. So that's really cool. Tell us a little bit more about how you feel about technology. I mean, you've mentioned it a little bit here. You talked about technology in the small business sector, and mid business sector. How have you seen that evolution in your career, and how do you think that that's going in the future?
You know what? It is the base of every business. If you are in hospitality, you need to put technology first. If you are in a service business, you need to put technology first. Every business out there needs to adopt and adapt technology, because if it isn't in your industry right now, at some point in time, it's going to come, right? If you think about construction, so people think, oh, construction, there's no technology in construction. Google technology in construction, you will be amazed. Garima, there's a robot that is out in SF in San Francisco that it can put drywall up in a room.
Wow.
Right? So every industry has technology. So prior to this industry, to Xendoo, I was in a print manufacturing business for a lot of years in South Florida. And I watched firsthand technology come to the doorstep along with the internet. And it took what was a local business and made it not local. And then the technology took what was analog machinery and made the machinery smart. And then it changed to where you couldn't hang on to your equipment for 10 years. You had to re-CapEx every couple of years. And it virtually decimated the industry. Now, the industry is still there, but people need less print. And so you're not going to get growth, right? You're just really kind of, it's a race to the bottom. You're surviving and you're trying to re-engineer and you're investing a lot. And so I believe that no matter what your business is, for everyone listening today, you have to, go put your phone away and go for a quiet walk and sit in a park and think about how you could apply technology to your business to improve your productivity and to deliver a better customer experience. And when you do that, it's going to help you grow your business, I believe, in my opinion.
I mean, I totally agree with you. And Jeff King, he just said she's 100% correct. So thanks for watching, Jeff, and thanks for that comment. I totally agree with you, Lil. One of the questions that we get though around technology, there's a lot of people I think are a little bit wary or afraid of embracing technology in their businesses, especially when it comes to, you guys are in the bookkeeping and accounting space. We do accounts receivable. A lot of times we get a lot of questions of, oh my gosh, does this mean I have to lay a bunch of people off, or am I taking their jobs? That comes up quite often. And, I know that we try to answer that. And it's like, look, we're talking about efficiency. We're talking about gaining efficiency, scaling up, those kinds of things. How do you address that in your business, or how do you address that when we talk about kind of the technology revolution or evolution as a whole?
Yeah. I understand how people feel about that. And so I highly recommend that the people listening Google the Knowledge Work Cloud by Sam Lessin. Okay. And Lessin is Lessin. He was an early Facebook guy. He was the guy who took Zuckerberg around to get his funding because he was in Harvard with him. And Sam writes about the Knowledge Work Cloud. And what the Knowledge Work Cloud is that when you apply technology to do the most basic repetitive tasks, you allow the human to do more of the highest level thinking. And so it doesn't mean that there's going to be less jobs. It means that there's going to be more jobs. It's that we're going to be more efficient, and that we're going to be able to do higher level thinking and help people grow their businesses better and help people do jobs that are going to go further. Everybody needs to apply technology to their life. It amazes me when I see, 75, 80, 85-year-old grandparents, right, that are on Facebook or that are text messaging their grandkids. Think about what they saw in their lifetime. So shame on us if we think that, oh boy, technology is putting us out of work. Did they think, oh boy, the car was going to make it to where they were going to lose their horses?
No, I mean, it's great. We got that book up for all of you to see, the one that she was just talking about, Knowledge Work by Sam Lessin. highly recommended. You know, it's funny though, when you talk about that and we talk about that efficiency and we talk about people and being more afraid of jobs, you know, when we talk about that with accountants and bookkeepers who often say, are you just going to take my job away? And it's, you know, some of the things we like to say, especially to people in the accounting profession, is that, do you really want to be doing day-to-day bookkeeping and expenses? I mean, you have this great degree, you know what you're doing, and you're there for analysis, you're there for evaluation. We need you to be reporting. We need you to get the reports that we provide to you and actually make decisions from it. And we need the help with that. So the technology isn't something to be feared. It's something to usually embrace because of how much better it's going to make you in your own practice. And so that's one of the things we like to talk about often. But you know, what else? Like when we talked, you and I were talking a little bit earlier, and you were talking about how businesses can retool. So we've talked a little bit about technology as a whole, but how do you think that right now, especially with everything that's going on, we've seen lots of different shifts towards technology or just businesses changing the way that they operate. How have you seen that, and how would you kind of advise people to be doing that right now because of all the changes we've had?
Yeah, so true. So we talk to small business owners all over the country, right? So we're in 45 states and 12 countries that we have customers in. And the common theme that I've seen over and over again is, you know, first everyone was, you know, pretty much gobsmacked and like, oh my God, we're all going to lose our businesses. And then I saw, you know, really the business owners, you have to say small business owners are some of the most resilient people there are, right? They took a step back and they said, what should I do with this time? How can I retool my business to be more efficient and more productive? And how can I deliver a better product to my customers? And that's what I've seen happen. I've had business owner after business owner tell me that they've been able to reach a more profitable state in their business. And how have they done that? So I had a guy that has a gym where, you know, it's kind of like Orange Theory classes, but they're not Orange Theory. And he told me that they increased their profitability before the pandemic ever hit, that he was already putting his wife's classes and everything online. And that what they found is that they were able to bring the price down a little bit, but it gave them more profit at the same time, because instead of only having the constraints of 20 people in class, they could actually have 30 or 35 people in class, or 40. There was no limit. So that's in the gym world. In the restaurant industry, what we've seen happen is we've seen them pare their menus down to the top items, to the similar ingredients, so they have less waste. So on their profit and loss sheet, their cost of goods have come down because they're not wasting as much, and they're still delivering a high quality product because their chefs are focusing on the top areas. And then they've applied, you know, the curbside and the online for ordering and for payment and all of that. And, you know, when we get into payments, which is, you know, what you guys do is amazing to me. When we get into payments, people would say, oh, well, then, you know, same feeling they're going to have. Oh, well, you know, I spend half my week, or I spend a day out of my week calling customers. Well, the business doesn't make any money when you have to call customers over and over and over again for a past due invoice, right? You know, did the customer have to call you guys, their business 10 times to get their product? I don't think so, right? So that's allowing it to level the playing field, so the business now has the resources that what I say to people, and in my old business when we went through this, applying technology in the print, as I said, now you get the exciting opportunity to do something that is better for the customer and better for the company with your time than chasing something that we shouldn't chase. And so when I saw what you guys have with Bill or Genie, I was just like, oh my gosh, I wish this was here 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, no, we really appreciate that. And we actually have some funny stories about that. We actually just signed up a customer last week. And when we were doing his integration, we noticed that he had thousands and thousands and thousands of invoices still in QuickBooks, like still open in QuickBooks, some of them going as far back as 2007. And so we told him, hey, just so you know, as soon as we turn this on, all of these invoices are going to be sent out. Like, just be aware that we're going to be sending out thousands and thousands of invoices. Your phone's probably going to blow up. Something's going to happen. So first he called us the next day, kind of upset, even though we told him. He's like, my phone's been blowing up. You know, we've got customers calling us that we haven't talked to in forever, and they're getting all these invoices. And like, yeah, but they're not paid, right? About 2 hours later, he calls us, and he gotten paid on 2 invoices, one from 2012 and one from 2018. And it was such a, such a different conversation, but it's such a funny thing because for him, his business was running just fine. He was doing okay, but he had these thousands of invoices that were unpaid. Imagine had he collected all of those at the time of sale or even closer, what his balance sheets would have looked like over these past 12 or 13 years. So it's been very, very interesting. And we've seen a big push towards the idea of just being more efficient in business and really understanding what your purpose is and your core value. How did you kind of do that at Xendoo? And did you guys see any changes, or did you guys use this time to refocus or retool anything? What did you do?
100%. So all of my businesses, Garima, and you guys come from the same fabric. All of my businesses were customer obsessed. To me, the first and foremost thing is customer satisfaction and happiness. I do not like to go to the mall and shop because I can't stand walking in and seeing somebody that's working on their phone, texting, and not taking care of the customer, right? And so I bring that back to all of our businesses, that small business owners have no time in their life, never get to do things, spend the time that they want. Everyone thinks, oh, you're a small business owner, you can do anything you want, you make as much money as you want. So false, right? You're the last one to get paid, you work tons of hours, the whole bit. So how do we keep that alive in our company is that we're customer obsessed, number one, and everything revolves around the customer. Without the customer, we don't have a job. And we look to hire people, we tell them up front that we're customer obsessed, and we look to hire people that share that same infectious attitude about coming to work and making somebody happy and making the customer happy. And then, it brings up, if you think about it, and it's timely because unfortunately this week we saw where Tony Shah passed away, and he had spent some time in Miami as well as in all startup communities. And, he started out as just somebody who wanted to be in business. And he said that they weren't in the shoe business, they were in the customer service business. And I think that if all businesses realized that they're not in the business they think they are, but they're really in the customer service business, imagine how happy everybody would be, because you wouldn't have the aggravation of a deadline missed or somebody not performing, a product that they were supposed to give you, or your order being right, or your lunch order being wrong, right? It's all levels.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. Putting that customer first, and also figuring out who is that customer, right? Because especially for businesses like Xendoo and Genie, we have the customer that's the business, but then we also have their customers, and how do we ensure that their entire ecosystem is taken care of, from their clients, their vendors, their customers, and they have a full ecosystem that they're supporting as well. So building up that support structure and that technology stack in order to make it easier for everybody in that ecosystem is it's so important. I know that for us, we kind of were able to take this time to take a step back. And I think one of the hardest things that we had to realize, and I think it's hard as an entrepreneur anywhere, is how to say no, especially coming from sales, right?
Yeah.
It's so tempting to look at the shiny object and say, oh my gosh, we should do everything for everybody. And I think we use this time to say, hold on, we have a great product that needs to go to very specific groups of people. And that's what we're going to really focus on. And so we took a lot of time with that. How did you guys do that? Is that what
Yeah, so that's what we did. We said, we're not going to get the growth that we were supposed to get. We were supposed to triple this year, and we said we're not going to get the growth because our target audience was affected the most, right? Small business owners, same for you guys. And so we said, what can we do in the company during this time that will be most valuable for our customer and for the customer? For the company. And so we stood up a data warehouse, which is an amazing technology. We focused on deliverables that will improve the customer experience for them. And we spent our time just, loving up our customers. We smothered them. We loved them. We hugged them. You name it. We spent this time calling them and seeing how we can help, and talking to them about their financials, and talking to them about their business. And as a tech-enabled, we fall in the space called tech-enabled, where we have technology first, and then we're still, providing a service. That's unusual to want to talk to your customers. Like, Salesforce doesn't want to talk to the customers, right? So yes, we want to talk to our customers, and we use the time for that. So it was awesome. Interesting. I would really love to maybe in a couple of weeks hear the follow-up from you about the customer that got the payment from 2012 and 2018, I think that they're probably also going to find that by tickling their customers, they may have forgot about them as a company, and I bet they're going to get new orders. Not only will they collect some money, they're going to get new orders.
Absolutely. I mean, we've said that to a few of our customers, that sometimes just being top of mind, and it's so hard as a small business. I mean, you're talking about, even in your target market, you're talking about people with 20 employees or less. And often, even if you look at our businesses, we're kind of the head chef, janitor, and everything all at once, right? So to be the person who's going out there and giving out frequency of marketing and making sure you're keeping that message going, to also contacting them and calling them and seeing how they're doing and helping them out, to ensuring that the technology is working and the customer service and tech, and then of course, for a lot of these businesses who may be doing, I don't know, let's say that they're a wholesale t-shirt shop, they're also making the t-shirts, you know?
Yeah.
So that I think is very, very difficult. So anything they can do to stay top of mind for their customers, even if it's sending them an invoice, often does kind of promote that brand awareness. So we're really excited about that.
100%.
What are some tools, tips, tricks that you can tell people to getting through some of the rough times, or just, how have you built, I mean, you built Xendoo, and just so everybody knows, Xendoo has done phenomenal. I mean, if you've looked at if you just look up Xendoo, and you will see some of the awards that they've won and Emerge, you'll see some of the things that the accolades, you'll see also how much they've raised in funding. I mean, it's an incredible story. So what are some of the tips, tricks? There's a lot of people watching who would love to know how you did what you've done so far.
Oh, thanks. So I think that number one, it's about being authentic. I think it's about finding a business. If there's listeners right now that are thinking about they're in a business and they're not passionate about it anymore, then they're doing themselves a disservice, their staff and their customers. They either need to reignite that passion, or they need to sell that business and go start another business that they're passionate about, right? So I think that it's about coming to work every day and wanting to climb that mountain and being passionate about what you're doing. And when we went through the pandemic at the beginning, the things that we did to help our customers were, to help them take a look at their business through the lens of, okay, what costs can I control? What areas should I cut? You just don't go across and do a blanket cutting. So for anybody listening that's in business right now, and you're so busy running your business, you may not realize interest rates are at the lowest they've ever been. So if you have a piece of equipment, say you're a t-shirt shop and you have $150,000 in financed equipment, and you're paying 6% on it, go refinance that to 2 or 3% right now. That's going to put money in your pocket, right? And so that's going to lower your overhead. And then take a look at your inventory and see, do you have excess inventory? Do you keep your inventory levels too high? Bring that down. Sometimes, it just like everybody grocery shops and they go and they see the BOGO, right? Buy one, get one free. And so they go ahead and they buy it. They don't realize that the whole purpose of BOGO is to take the money that's in your pocket on items that you don't necessarily need and to attract it to come out of your pocket so the grocery store can have it, right? And so it's the same thing in our business. We may get great opportunities on buying inventory, and maybe we may think, oh my God, that's so great. Well, if you're not going to sell that inventory, it doesn't matter how great that opportunity was to buy it. So it's about using money as a product and saying, this money that I have, I need to get a return on it. Not just to pay my bills, I need to get a return. So what bills am I paying? Go back, we did a lot of articles on this that we were fortunate enough to be called upon for commentary on it. So some of the top level things I said, go through your tech stack, determine what your monthly subscriptions are. You may find that you've had employees that have come and gone that have trialed for something and it became a paid subscription, and you don't realize you're paying for it and you don't need it, right? So go through there and trim those out. You're going to find a couple of monthly subscriptions you don't need. The same thing happens for, go into your inventory. Do you have inventory that maybe you could put some kind of special on and you could go ahead and blow it out? Because while it's sitting on your floor, even if you blow it out at a loss, it's sitting on your floor and it's not earning anything. So instead of losing that whole amount of money, maybe only lose 20% of that money, because now that money is money when you need it, right? Same thing on your loans, same things on all of it. To me personally, because I'm a huge people person, as you can see, to me personally, I think staff should be last. When you think about cutting staff, it should be the last thing. Look to the other areas, because the staff in your business, that's your intellectual capital. And those are the people that can be reaching out and talking to your customers and touching your customers. And there's a big return. Every time you touch your customers, there is a big return that you can get.
I love that. I love that. And I think that a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, were so quick to make staffing decisions very quickly and say, oh, I'm going to cut staff and it's my biggest expense. And often it's your biggest expense because, as you said, it's your biggest asset too. I mean, your team is your biggest asset. They're able to do so many things for you. The subject matter expertise, the customer service, the customer facing, the way that they do things is absolutely. And then also, a lot of times people aren't realizing the time value of money, right? So the fact that you are what are you doing, right? So if that means that all of a sudden you're going out of your genius zone and you're going to have to handle a million things because you cut a bunch of staff, are you really saving any money? Because, I mean, how does that really work? And what is your time worth? So I think that it's really important for people. I think that that's such a good tip for everybody on here to really look at that and look at inventory. I love the way you're talking about inventory and BOGOs. It's funny that you said that because I was in Asheville last week, actually, with my family. And my dad never goes grocery shopping. And so we sent him to the grocery store, and probably not a great idea. And we were there for 4 days. And he comes back and we've got like 2 tubs, like huge tubs of yogurt. And we've got like 24 eggs. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh, this was all on BOGO. And I was like, but we're here for 4 days. We have no way of taking this home. We have no way. I mean, it's going to get wasted anyway. Like, what is the purpose of having so much extra food if we're not going to actually be able to eat it? So it was such a funny thing. I love that you said that because it's true. There's a reason, a rhyme and a reason that the grocery store did that. And if we're not going to use it just because it's BOGO doesn't mean we need to add it to our waste pile. So I love that. I love that analogy. So we're almost short on time here. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our listeners, our viewers now and later when they're going to watch this?
Well, one, I've thoroughly enjoyed our time, Garima. So thank you. It's an honor to work with you and Tom and the team at Bill or Genie. And we love that we're partners. And I love the show that you do. It's amazing. So thank you for that. And what I would say is, to everybody listening, that the sun will shine again. That yes, we're in a tough situation with the pandemic, but we all wouldn't be here if they didn't figure it out in 1918. And, and it's unprecedented once every 100 years. So keep the faith, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and know the sun will shine tomorrow. So.
Well, thank you so much. We have a webinar coming up with you, which is really exciting. So Lil and our CEO and founder Tom will be on a webinar next week. It's December 8th at 1:30. It's a webinar. Go ahead and register. You'll find out how to improve your cash flow in 2021. I mean, who doesn't want better cash flow, right? I mean, cash flow is the lifeblood to your business. Let's make sure you guys get on that. There's great tips from some amazing entrepreneurs, some great founders, things that have absolutely changed the face of so much. And so we're really, really excited about that. But thank you for joining us, Lil, and thank you all for your partnership, and thank you for everything you've done for us. We're really excited. We're great. We love partnering with you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.